Well there guys, Simon here, Ario's pipe smoker. Yeah, inclement weather at the moment. Started snowing last night, pretty snowed in today. It's not so deep, but yeah, in my van it's a bit treacherous, the mountain road. So I thought I would have another attempt at making this video on how to retort a pipe. I've lost count of how many times I've tried to make this. One time, I've just had technical failures, put it that way. What am I doing? I'm smoking a meerschaum, but we're not here for that. So my cat's just distracted me. Do you want to come say hello to YouTube? Oh. So, what is a pipe retort and why would you retort a pipe? Quite simply, you pass hot alcohol vapour through the pipe. It sort of condenses as it goes, kind of cleaning the oils, and then the alcohol obviously is condensed back into alcohol. It gets sucked back down into the receptacle in which the alcohol is heated. So that's fundamentally the process, and you kind of do it to I won't say deep clean, because I deep clean before I do a retort. It's not really a shortcut, but it does get oils out of the nooks and crannies that are hard to get to, and it also deghosts the bulb. I've done the salt method and alcohol, and yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a particular ghosting that you get with French estate pipes. It's like a brown tobacco, and it's nigh on impossible to remove with a salt bath, I found. But retorts work very well. Right. I've had a few attempts, a few prototypes. There's lots of videos on YouTube about this, but it's quite hard here to source laboratory equipment, and I don't really want to buy 20 test tubes or start spending €30 on volumetric flasks. So I've kind of modified a small jam jar. And I will say at this point, do not do this with a naked flame. You will end up on fire, fundamentally. So, and again, you know, this is just how I've adapted a technique. Hopefully, you'll get the fundamental principle, and yeah, you know, you can knock something up with what's laying around the house. Right. I have to put the pipe down. I think I need 2 hands. So I've already, for the sake of time constraints, I've already fitted the stem of this pipe that I'm using, this Chris wheel, into a tube that's kind of chemical metalled to a lid of a jam jar. It kind of can be quite tight getting the tube on. One thing I'll mention is, actually, let's see if we can get a close up. Yes, we can. Yeah, it can be quite tight getting the tube on, and I'll what's the word? Add a note, or note to oneself, note to you guys. I've experimented with latex tubing, and I found it to be quite fragile, and it can split. Whether I just had the bad quality latex tubing. I think this tubing here is, I think it's silicone, and if you heat it up in some boiling water, this is a reasonably wide pipe stem, so it's quite a big stretch. So I started off on a narrower stem, sort of, you know, put the tube in water, stretched it, let it cool down, set, and worked it up to this. And it's really important that this system is completely airtight, otherwise it doesn't work, basically. And so I've kind of chemical metalled this chimney onto a little jam jar lid. You see, yeah, sort of inside and out. And that fundamentally, I have a jam jar here, pre-prepared. It's a bit weird using two cameras and using my phone to monitor it. Yeah. So that sits on there quite nicely like that. And in there I use 100%, so you can get this in shot, 100% bioethanol, 95%, that's 95%. Now this is the problem with the salt bath treatment, is yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible, but generally alcohol is 95, 90, 98% this ethanol. And salt does not dissolve in alcohol so readily. However, salt does dissolve in water, and the other like 5% here is most likely water. So that 5% of water will dissolve some salt, and if you have a little crack or a very small fissure in your bowl, and this water of the salt gets in, when the water evaporates, it leaves salt crystals behind, which can kind of expand and turn a little fissure into a more serious cracking issue. So yeah, I mean that's another reason why I'm steering away from that technique and steering towards this technique. So I mean, yeah, that's kind of quite self-evident. Moving on to the stummel, hopefully you can see I've got a cork in the stummel. Let's see if you can zoom in. And again, it's just like a winemaker's cork that go in like the 1 gallon 5 litre demijohns. I sanded it down a little bit to get more of a taper. And again, there's some chemical metal just holding this chimney in place, and that kind of, yeah. Focus? I think we are. I'm not sure. So that's fundamentally the stummel part carried out. I've already deep cleaned this pipe. I've reamed it. I've gone through with cotton wool buds, alcohol, pipe cleaners, and I do this because at the moment this is a bit of an ugly duckling, the finish on this. I'm sure it's going to be lovely when I've got further into the process. But I do this first because there is some lava on the rim here. And there is going to be a little bit of alcohol getting onto the rim, you can minimise it. So the kind of lava and the general grime on the pipe are going to help protect it from any sort of little alcohol spillages. Obviously, if this wasn't, well, I don't suppose you'd do a retort unless it was an old estate pipe. So I was about to say, if it's an expensive pipe with a nice finish, you'd really want to make sure this cork is tight. I've seen some people use cotton wool, and I've tried that, but I find that you get alcohol vapour coming out and sitting on the rim, which will take a finish off. And also with this little chimney, when it's all connected up, I'll be able to see alcohol starting to. There's a word for it now. Would it be refluxing? I'm not sure. You can see alcohol starting to bubble its way up the tube, which kind of means that the whole pass, the pipe has had a full pass of alcohol. But anyway, less waffling and more retorting. So I'm going to just join them together now. And the other thing I don't do, or I do depending how you look at it, I don't think I'll be able to get a close-up of this. Maybe. Bear with me, folks. completely unnecessary close up, even if it's in focus. But yeah, I mean, I don't push the tenon and the mortise fully together. I leave a little bit of a gap, a couple of millimeters. This is just to ensure that some of this alcohol is going to clean the gap. There's always going to be a bit of a gap between the tenon and the mortise, and it does get quite gunky in the kind of corner there. And so this just opens that space up a bit to let the alcohol flow and do a better clean. Now, you've probably guessed the rest. Now, this was one of the failures on a previous video. My electric kettle broke, so I bought this new one, and it's actually obviously transparent, so we can see what's going on. Now, what I'm going to do is, you can see, it's just this. It's fine. I have experimented with a bigger jam jar, and I have experimented with less alcohol in the jam jar. I think it's got something to do with the amount of space on top of the alcohol. The more minimal that is, the better the results. I guess it's easier for the alcohol to push through. If I use less alcohol, it will boil, but it's not really getting the pressure up into the pipe. So a full, fullish jar, and that goes into the electric kettle. Obviously, I'm not going to let it bang the sides of the kettle because it will break. And I'm going to put the kettle on to boil whilst holding the pipe. So the kettle water's just off to boil. I've let it boil to which is 100 degrees, and the alcohol boils at 70 degrees. Yeah, and I think we can see some agitation now, and the alcohol is starting to boil. Hopefully you can kind of see that. You can see that the alcohol is getting agitated, which kind of means that it's evaporating up through the pipe now. So I'm going to adjust the camera angles, and we'll get back in. It's not unusual at this point for the alcohol to turn colour. There will be some oils that will start running back down the stem. To start with, I keep the pipe reasonably, the shank reasonably vertical. This is just because any bend in the stem will restrict the airflow or the vapour flow, alcohol vapour in this case. And to start with, we're trying to get the pipe warmed up a little bit. And I can hear it gurgling. You can feel the pipe gurgling. And surprisingly quickly, how quickly it starts warming up. Good boil on the alcohol. Now I'll actually bend it down a little bit more horizontally. I can feel there's alcohol bubbling in the bowl now. Oh, you see it's blowing out the top. I don't know if you caught that. I'm going to give it one more blast, and then we'll do the retort. Yeah, some of it spurted out of the little chimney there. Right, yeah, it's doing it again. I've got alcohol up in the bowl. Right, so now you just literally lift that out like so it can cool down. There should be a vacuum forming here. You see the alcohol changing colour as it's being sucked down the pipe here. Like I say, this is being deep cleaned, this pipe. And hopefully this is kind of, yeah, in shot. That's all the hidden oils. Now I generally do this, I'll give it like 3 flushes. The advantage of using a big amount of alcohol like this is I've actually got a few pipes in the queue, and now it's all up to temperature. It's actually kind of quite a fast process to just put another pipe on the tube. I've seen some people will change the alcohol. I personally don't think this is necessary up to a point, unless it's like really disgusting and smelling bad alcohol. Because the alcohol is being distilled, so the alcohol vapour travelling up the tube is clean, white, clear alcohol. Sometimes, like I say, I'll do this 3 times. I'll go back in with cotton wool buds, pipe cleaners. Occasionally I deem that I would benefit from another retort. In those instances I will use a fresh clean alcohol, but it just depends on the pipe, to be honest. This one's not too bad. Sometimes this first pull through will be black in some pipes. But this way it's quite safe, you know. I don't really, even if I had laboratory glass, I'd still be quite cautious about heating strong alcohol. Oops, blowing out the top again. Heating strong alcohol over a naked flame. At least if this goes wrong, it's all self-contained pretty much. There's a good boil on that alcohol now. Well, I hope this has been of some use. I'm not going to sit here and bore you with 3 retorts worth of me turning a kettle on and off. But I just thought I'd share this idea. I mean, yeah, you know, improvise, have a go yourself. You know, once you've done it a few times, you'll figure out if you need a narrower tube or a yeah, it's probably not capturing it so well on camera, these but you certainly get the idea. Like I say, this one wasn't so bad. It's a bit quite dirty. I don't know if that's in focus or not, actually. We'll find out when I edit the footage. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do my pipe retorts. Pretty much normal procedure when it's all over to when you've smoked a pipe. Don't try and separate the mortise and tenon, because the pipe it does get up to about probably, yeah, you know, the temperatures it gets up to when you're actually smoking it, so you have to treat it as you know, smoked pipe. So now, yeah, that's I might as well turn that camera off now, I think, yeah. So that's kind of pipe retorting. I'd say it's the first step, pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to probably, well, there's no point making a video of deep cleaning, you know. It's obvious in it, cotton wool pads and pipe cleaners, and until, you know, it's gunk free. I've already reamed it. I might do a video on reaming, I don't know, I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, so I'll share the retort. I'm hoping I'll be able to sort of document the journey of this one pipe actually. Make a few videos. So obviously the stem needs a lot of work, the pipe itself probably needs a refinish. And I think it'll be a handsome pipe when it's done. Right guys, go and experiment. Respect your partner's cooking utensils at all times, and take care, and I'll say enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm not sure when I'll upload this, but right, signing off.